Okay, so this is the first time I'm going to do something like this. Just so you know, I do have two small children, so if you hear them in the background, just enjoy the cute voices while I'm kind of doing this illustration. So what I want to do today is I want to, I guess, ink this, and then depending on how fast I ink this, I'm going to color it. If the video ends up being too long, then I'll just make the coloring like a separate video. But I just wanted to show you a little bit about how I do this. I think I've gotten a little faster with it, and at the risk of kind of being vulnerable and showing that I don't really know everything, um, I hope that it's informative for some of you guys. So this is an illustration of or a fan art of Dororo. It's not. It's got 24 episodes. It's all on Amazon Prime if you haven't seen it. This is not a spoiler by any means, but just to kind of, I guess, this is just kind of a fantasy thing of mine. So, but if you don't want to be spoiled about any of the story, I will refrain from talking about the story just so, you know, this doesn't like ruin any of the magic for you guys. So what I'm doing is I have the line art here on another layer, and so I had saved it as a PNG yesterday, and so what I'm gonna do is just like lower the opacity, um, and then I'm gonna go, for now I'm gonna use black, but I may change that to kind of a lighter color. And I usually go here to my pencils, and I really like using this rough pencil right here. I used to have this really great pencil before that I used to use, but recently I've been really into this rough pencil. I'm really ashamed to say that like I didn't know you could mess with the stabilization um, for any of the tools, so I've just kind of been trying to learn the tools and use the tools and stabilization of the presets for that they have for the stabilizations. So yeah, and I do know that there is kind of a vector line tool that helps you kind of delete lines. I don't use it just because I'm a little too lazy to learn how to use it, and I find that just doing it my method is the same amount of time anyway. So we're going to go ahead and start another layer for the inking. I have my brush size at 17 pixels right now. And then I guess I'm trying to decide if this is a good, maybe it's too thick. I'm going to go see at 15, see how I feel. Go a little lower, 14. And let's just go at 13. All right. So I'm going to go here. And you can see that like my sketch lines are very thick. What I usually like to do is that the lines like closest to the white space on the inside of the face is usually where I try to trace. I feel like for the side view, the nose is kind of what makes or breaks. Nose and placement of the eyes are kind of what makes or breaks the attractiveness of the side view, at least for me anyway, and my own drawings. And I know that maybe people who have been following me for a long time might be very bored of me using the side profile view. I like them. I find them a lot easier to do than the front profile views, mainly because I feel like the front profile views are like there's just a lot more balance involved, and then so I feel like there's a lot more pressure to keep the eyes even and stuff. So I quite like doing the side profile views. Plus it's like it's a much easier way for me to put two characters into one scene. Obviously, like I can put two characters in one scene in a different angle, but I just, you know, for quick drawing purposes, I like this one. Someone is messaging me right now. I'm gonna check if that's urgent or not. Okay. I don't really have a method for inking the eyes, or at least I don't think I do. I feel like I do it like differently each time. And I'll be completely honest, I get a lot of anxiety still like inking the eyes because I'm not sure if they're gonna look okay. Like I don't have, in my opinion, very attractive eyes for my style. Like a lot of people have really like gotten down the style for their eyes and everything, and it looks really like, you know, attractive and enticing. And I feel like, you know, when I draw my eyes, it's kind of like meh. But you know what? I think what's important is that like I'm happy with it. They kind of serve their purpose for me. But I guess it's something for me to think about, right? Like to finally be happy with it at some point of my life. And I'll work on that when I feel like the time is right. I feel like a lot of art decisions and stuff, and when you improve in art, is just kind of a lot very dependent on like how much you want to be ready for something. 心の準備をしなきゃいけない. So my daughter just listened to that part. And, you know, maybe there's something, I guess, that's kind of holding you back. And in this case, maybe there's something holding me back for the eyes here in particular. You know, I noticed too in the anime, Hyakkimaru, who I'm drawing the eyes right now, his eyes, his like, okay, never mind, not gonna say. I just realized that's also a spoiler. Excuse. You know what? If this gets annoying, just totally just put my voice on mute. I don't care. Okay. So this kind of makes him look worried, and that's not what I wanted. So I'm going to redo the eye. I hope that's okay. So I think the problem was I made it too curved at the ends, and, you know, Hyakkimaru's eyes are not super curved to the point where he looks worried. He's mostly like a kudere. Probably not by choice. So I'm trying to give him a more stoic, expressionless look here. I feel like that's more true to character. I really hope they come out with the second season. Apparently, like, everyone's saying that creatively there was only really like just this one season that was planned, but they did leave it open-ended, and so I'm hoping that it gets popular enough to warrant a second season, whether there is a manga for it or not. I also appreciate too, I didn't know that like Amazon Prime releases their anime simultaneously with Japan. I thought like they were just kind of like some shows like Netflix basically, where they'll release them like only after the series is completed. In Japan, I didn't know that Amazon was more, or not Amazon. Yeah, I didn't know that Amazon Prime was more like a Crunchyroll thing in that regard. So this is where it's gonna get a little messy, and you're gonna wonder what the heck I'm doing. Well, actually, before I start with the messy, I'm going to complete chin portion here, or the jawline. Okay. Hyakki has very feminine features, or I should say softer features that would be considered more feminine. And I wonder, maybe I don't like his chin being like that, so we're going to undo a little bit, erase here, and I'm gonna kind of elongate the length of the chin here. There you go.
I'm gonna have Sheena and
Sheena. いいよ、シーナと遊んでいいよ。
and Pooh-chan.
いいよ。
And it's gonna be super cute.
Okay. You show me after, okay? All right. Yeah, that's good. All right. So we're going to do another layer here, And I'm going to go ahead and do the messy portion that I was talking about.
ひなえぶちゃんもさん。
そういつも仲良くよかったね。I really like the whole unkempt look that they gave Hyakkimaru. I think it's very, kind of makes sense with the character anyway. So I tend not to keep a lot of these lines, and you'll see why in a bit. I usually try to imply lines if I want to with the coloring when I know that I kind of want a more like softer touch to the lines. I really still like to stick with cell style if I can, or at least start with cell style as a base and then just kind of, you know.
これ撮りたい。
何？あ、
撮りたい。
どうしたこれ？
撮りたい。
できない？自分で。There.
はい。
これも？
Put it back on.
Okay. はい、できた。
ありがとう。
Alright, so back here. I actually don't know how long it will permit me to screen capture a video. I've never actually used this before. I'm using QuickTime. If only I could stream from here on my Instagram, that would be kind of cool. Unless maybe there is a way on the cell phone, I just haven't figured it out. Okay, so ears, I don't really know much about. I mean, I'm sure that I could like copy an ear, but this is kind of my style of ears. So if it looks strange to you, by no means. Like, I mean, you don't have to use the same thing. This is not so much a tutorial as it is more of a, this is how I do it, yay! So, kind of want to give Hyakki a more messy bun type of situation here. So I'm gonna try to add some loose locks of hair, or imply them at least. See, this line here, I'm actually not going to include, but I'm going to have it here real quick so I can mentally tell myself where not to include the locks. There you go. All right, and let's go ahead and I very much like that kind of retro style of like hair that kind of stands up and goes crazy everywhere. Mainly because like I don't know what to do with my own hair, and if I just wake up from just normal bedhead, that's how it looks on me. And I just leave my house looking like a crazy lady most of the time. So I like that kind of anime romanticizes it a little bit. Kind of makes me feel better about leaving the house looking like I do. Okay. All right, so I think that's how far I'm going to go with the inking of his hair right now, and we're going to go ahead and erase what we don't need, which is going to be quite a lot. We'll clean it up really quickly, and I'll leave some lines that I do want, especially the ones that are going to imply depth. I can never pronounce that right, depth. Go here. And another reason why I don't use the vector line tool is that I feel like when you kind of use the vector line tool and then like swipe through here, the end is not as pointy and as elongated as I'd like it to be, and I feel like this is the only way to kind of ensure that it is like that. The only annoying thing is that like you have to be really careful about these lines, make sure that you you know, don't go over or something. So we're not going to need this one to be this long. So I'm going to erase that, and we're going to rotate this here because obviously I'm only good at erasing at one angle apparently. And this doesn't need to be that long up here. So I'm going to come up here, erase that, and I'm going to just come in here and make things more angled. はい。あ、かわいい。ベビーカーみたい。
ベビーカーだよ。
そう。
ベビーカー。ベビーカーで。ベビーカーで。
でもうすぐ準備をしないといけないんだよ。歯医者の準備、もうすぐだね。
昨日行けなかった。
そう、今日行ける。今日また行く。
ママ、
はい。
Can I bring a plushie when I go there?
Yeah, you can bring something to hug when we go to the dentist. That's okay.
Can I bring Raka?
Yeah. You can bring any plush that you want.
Can I put Raka in her room?
Her room?
Yeah. One time I showed the Shama room.
Oh, I see. Okay. Yeah, do what you want, but I mean, if you can't.
I'm gonna show you her room.
Yeah, but like, are you gonna bring the room to the dentist? Because you can't.
No, not the room. We can't bring the room. The room is in the
大きすぎ
car.
じゃない。あ、そっか。でも、なんか抱いてるぬいぐるみがいないの？ないの？
Rakaちゃん。
いや、歯医者に行く、
一緒に行くよ。
行く間に、いや、ルームにお留守番じゃなくて。
何？ルームにお留守番じゃなくて何？
なんか、歯医者さんが仕事している間に、ゆいちゃんがなんか抱きたいぬいぐるみがないの？
抱きたいって何？抱きたいって何？
あ、抱きたいっていう意味わかんないの？
わかんない。聞いたことない。
ハグするっていうこと。
多分ラカちゃんだよ、それ。ラカちゃんってさっきから言ってるんですけど。
わかった。So she said she wants to bring one of her orca whale plushies. We have many in this house. But she wants to bring specifically one that she named Laka. It's the smallest one out of all. Well, actually, no, it's the second to the smallest one.
There's the mommy one.
There's the mommy one, yes.
Yeah, the big one. The big one.
I might be making his hair look like more straw-like here than it needs to be. But I'm hoping to kind of correct that. I'm hoping to correct that strawness with the shading a little bit because I'm quite happy with those lines so far. Sometimes when I'm in like the coloring process, I'm not happy with the lines and I'll change them in the middle of coloring, which can get annoying, but I feel like, I don't know, I feel like with art there's a lot of things like that, of like, oh, this is annoying, you know, and don't want to do it, and but then I guess like if you just suck it up and do it, you know, something gets completed. I think the I guess anxiety I feel from not completing something really just overcomes like the anxiety of something not looking very perfect for me. Ah, that's on a different layer, isn't it? Okay, and it works out for me because then I can go here like this and not have to worry about changing that layer. So this, I'm going to close it up a little bit. I know that it won't really matter, but yeah, that's good. Okay, and we're going to go here and I'm going to take care of this last bit here. It looks like I have some cleaning up to do on the layer under it as well. So And there's these little tidbits here, like in the corner, that obviously are not super clean, but I feel like if you don't see it at the end of the coloring process, it's not that big of a deal. Okay, I'm just gonna go and add a little bit of depth to the inking. Save me some time when I'm trying to fill in some color. Okay.
Can I go downstairs, Mom?
いいよ。
なんかベビーカーにそのしなちゃんとプーちゃんのベビーカーを持っていく。
いいよ。気をつけて。
大丈夫。
怖いな。Okay, so I think we're done with the inking of his face. Maybe this will just be the inking video and I'll just break it up for the other stuff. I really liked the kind of angular look that the anime gave his scarf here. So instead of it just kind of going around his, you know, neck like this, like really smooth, it kind of gave it more of a polygonal look. And I really liked that. So I'm going to try to keep that. Actually, we're going to start on another layer here. So I combined both the layers of the face lines, the face inks and the hair inks. And right now I'm starting a new layer for this scarf inks right here. So I'm not really caring if I'm going over any of the previously made lines or not. And then his neck, I guess I'll include the lines for the underside of his neck here. That's a little too unrealistic. There you go. Maybe too thin. Even though he has a more elegant body type. Don't want to make it the neck too thin. All right, so I think that looks good. Again, I'm trying to go for more harsh polygonal shapes. Trying to keep in mind which lines are supposed to go over which. Kind of reminds me of like the older Final Fantasy stuff. And someone's fighting already. If you're wondering if you are local, this illustration will be available at Japan Fair. And trying to figure out exactly how I want to do this and in a way that I will remember, because if I make too many lines, especially when I zoom in, I'm like, what was I doing here? I totally forgot. Okay, let's add something there. All right, so we're gonna go and clean this up. Again, I know that seems like it's a little too much work, but again, this is the only way that I feel comfortable doing, I guess, the more harsh polygonal look. Harsh lines, polygonal stuff. And we'll go in here and erase what we don't need here. Whoops, added two things instead of the zoom out button. Zoom out real quick, check if it's exactly, you know what, we're just gonna delete that there too. And kind of going through here, Go on the layer below, delete that, go back to the upper layer here, and delete what I don't need. Would I like to keep that or not? Let's see if I have it like this, if it would look better. Oh, it looks like I don't need this here. Maybe I'll keep a smidge of that line there. Round it off a little bit. Take care of that extra line. So here, I'm trying to remember what I was doing here. I should probably connect this here. There we go. And there you go. Yeah, let's delete this one. Delete that one. And we don't need these extra two sticking out here. And it's just the last part is going to be this area here. There you go. There. So I think I'm going to use this line, but I'd rather not portray it in such a harsh way. So I'll just, if I want to include it, I'll just include it with the shading. Okay. A lot of people say that, like, if your lines are really tight, you know, meaning that if they're done really well, there shouldn't be too many things that the colors should save it from. But I think it just kind of depends on what you're wanting to do with it. So here I'm going to add some depth lines just to show that, you know, there's a bit of a shadow and that it is kind of disappearing into this area. Here too, just any place that you think any of the lines would kind of retreat into the darkness. There you go. Let's have one here too. And soften this up by doing one there. And I believe maybe these lines could, let's see how they look if give them a slight line weight. Let's see how that is. Okay, that's good. That's good. So his body's gonna be, I'm gonna merge those right now. And then the body is going to be, use a red line right now. You see it? Kind of want him like that. So I have the kimono kind of falling forward, but if you see, like, I have it falling forward too much, here you can see that his scarf is, you know, falling down, which is, I want that one to stay. So but I think the kimono, it is open a little bit, so I'm gonna have, and it's a very loose kimono too, because he doesn't care if something's fitting or not. So I'm gonna do that. I think it's kind of helped justify, but then at the same time, like, then this shouldn't be falling as forward as, because it's not really resting on anything. So I think what I'm gonna do here, well, I don't have that many lines yet, is I'm actually gonna do this mesh transformation thing. So what I'm trying to do is preserve these lines up here with the face, but I want to warp these lines so it's kind of falling down more onto the chest area. So, and I don't feel like redrawing everything, so I feel like this is kind of the best way to go without warping too much of what's going on up there. Okay, actually, they're kind of nice. Yeah, it's kind of got like, his scarf has got this eraser head thing going on. I really like it. And I think there. And we're going to turn that off a little bit. Yeah, there you go. See, it kind of falls more along the line of how loose the kimono is. So let's do that. Let's follow those new lines. And it didn't seem to warp the face too much. I know part of the chin was warped there. And I realize I missed this spot. So let's go back to the original inking layer and delete that. And then we're gonna go and just start on the lines for the kimono, which doesn't seem like there's very much. So I'm really glad that his kimono, let's go back to black here, is very simple. I always forget like if the left or right side goes over the you know which side of the kimono. I always have to look it up on Google and check because if the right, I believe if it's the right side that's over the left side for the kimono, then actually, oh, okay, wasn't following the right lines here. We're going to lower the opacity of a few of these so I know what I'm doing. Okay. So what was I saying? Oh yeah. So if if you have the wrong side, the right side of the kimono going over the left side, that's usually how they do kimonos and stuff. They fold them. That's how they fold them on people when people pass away. So so like I guess I wonder too, I should have paid attention. Like I wonder if yokai that are wearing kimono in like anime, I wonder if they're wearing it that way to just kind of signify like, hey, I'm an ayakashi and I'm not part of this world. I really, really love ayakashi stuff though. And it doesn't matter. It doesn't have to be like specifically Japanese ayakashi things. I just really like ayakashi in general. So that includes, you know, even like something that would be considered like a Western yokai. So like unicorns, fairies, like those count as well. What the heck? What was this? What lines were this? That oh, okay. I get it now. Got confused there for a moment. Signify that this is overlapping the other. There you go. Ah! And this is another reason why I like this show. And I'm a sucker for ayakashi stuff. I know that Junji Ito, I don't know if that would be considered ayakashi as more, if it's more of a horror porn. Which it's creepy. So I guess if you like the creepy stuff, I think for me, like I like the creepy aspect of ayakashi, but I also like the aspect of that some storytellers have of like not all of them are, you know, murderous and trying to kill you. Maybe that's naive of me. Okay, so we're gonna go here with the scarf. I really like how I guess the accidental lines that I came up with for this scarf. How many times does it take to get it right? Okay. And I think we got it. So there is that one. And then I'm gonna delete these lines here. So here the light would probably be hitting in that area, so I'm just gonna add some def lines here. And then possibly here too to show that this is a shoulder sleeve type thing. You might not be able to see this because the color of his kimono is black. So, oh, excuse me. I'm like trying to hold back a burp. So I think, yeah, that's the inking for Dororo Janai for Hyakkimaru. And then I'm going to ink Dororo off camera for now, and then after I'm done inking the whole thing, I'll come back with another video for the coloring process. So thank you very much, and I hope to see you guys in the next video soon. Okay. Bye bye.